Hey, what's happening, guys? Hope you're doing well today. It is Thursday. Technically, it's a Friday because the market's closed tomorrow. What is going on? And we traded live today for the first day in 2.5 weeks, 3 weeks at this point. And felt interesting, actually. I started the day off with three losers. And we're going to look at those trades because I didn't like them. And then after I started to trade better and I found myself green, and then guess what? I gave it all back with some sloppy trading around 10 o'clock, 10:30. The time zone is off. It was more around 11 o'clock. Yeah, exactly. Anyhow, so let's go ahead and look at it here. We're going to start by looking at the markets. NASDAQ, this was the reaction to the jobs numbers in the morning here. And we were bullish, and then we were in sort of this trading range. As soon as the market opens, we shoot up for another bull run. So Nasdaq's quite extended. We definitely were expecting a bit of profit taking. So I found myself getting into a short here. That was too early because I got stopped out pretty close. As you can see, we came up for a lower high as opposed to this high. So this right here ended up failing. I guess I was just oblivious to the order flow at that point. So this first trade here ended up being a loser in that regard. And I was looking to short into this as being a lower high, and that we were initially going to trade lower, but instead what happened was we traded higher first and then lower. So look at what happened here. I shorted, then I bought back for a loss, and then again right here, I don't like this entry at all. You can see how we're consolidating sideways, and for some reason I decided to sell there, and again I got stopped out on the highs. Now as we broke on the highs here, I'm two losses at this point in the morning. As we break the highs and fail, that signals a decent short, so I sold that, and that time I had profit. But guess what? I didn't take the profit because I had two losers, so I wanted to have a bigger move, so I stopped out break even. And then again, I follow up with this sort of thing, which again, this is very sloppy, aggressive behavior where we're in this sort of choppy range here around the 400 on the NASDAQ. And again, we see a bull move and I get stopped out here for a loss. So that's me having three losers to start. So technically I should be done by then. That's me, like three losers, I'm out, I'm done. But I said, all right, I'll give myself one more chance, and that is it. So I gave myself a chance and I sold this extended move up here. As we came up to test 420, you can see we had an aggressive move up and then another attempt, and then I just saw there was just a lack of buyers up here. Nobody was willing to buy up here, and then I sold there, and then we had some nice moves down. So look at how the price reacts there. Now again, this is me being greedy again, where I have a nice move here, about 10 handles of profit. I don't take it, and then it comes right back up and it almost stops me out. So I would have sold at 16 and my stop would have been at 26. It didn't quite stop me out because we had a bull break with no follow through, which again is a good signal for a short. And you can see how after that we continued in this sort of trading range and then managed to eventually trade lower. As we saw this bear right here breaking, trying to test the lower 400s, followed by a bull, that sparked me to cover my short. And I don't know why. I shouldn't have really covered it. But again, it's tough, right? Because my break even is not far away here. It's 416. But generally, the order flow was keeping me confident that the buyers were going to be trapped if we were to trade under 400. And we were just too optimistic overall. We were expecting some profit taking from the big boys, all right? Eventually, we managed to trade lower here. See, we have a bear break, and then that was the real bear break, testing under 400. And that's where I covered the short because I got back in right around here at 410. So I covered the short here. Then I realized the order flow is still weak, and then I decided to take the short again here at 410. And then I covered at 390. So a nice 20 handle win right there. That's pretty cool. And then followed by a massive bull. Thank God I covered that time. See, this is the market right here. This is what the market does. It gives you 20 handles of profit, and then it comes right back to your break-even point. Look at that. If I did not take this profit, if I was a greedy pig looking for 50 handles, I would have gotten 0 handles. Instead, I took my 20 handles and I left. So at this point, we come right back up here to test the 410s, reject it, and then chop in a trading range. So it seems like because of how optimistic this move was, very impulsive, probably caught some longs on board. This starting to look like a bull flag. The order flow is pretty weak at this point, and we trade lower. I sold this, and then I covered it for a break even on this pop. I sold again here, and that time I had profit as we managed to trade lower under the 400s, trading into the 380s here. Pushed all the way down to VWAP. This one was pretty aggressive. You can see here I covered at around 380, 382. And I was short at 399. So again, another 18 handles of profit right there. Pretty cool. So I would have been green on the day just from those two trades at that point. And now this is where it gets interesting. There's a couple of good trades after here. We're going to go over them. But then after that, there's a bunch of sloppy trades that just shouldn't have taken. take a look at this. So we had an aggressive move down to the VWAP. And again, this is kind of testing the range of the consolidation from the jobs numbers. The low would have been around 356. And on the volume profile, that was a key area. A lot of volume trade around that price in the 350s to the 360s. We come up here, we kind of get a little bounce off the VWAP. Now again, when I see these bounces after a big bear like that, you definitely have to be a bit skeptical of the bulls. So you want to see how the order flow reacts on the retrace here. And again, we're not seeing much strength here, so I decided to sell this, and then I covered it for break even for some reason. I don't know why. Must have been not convinced. And then I sold it again, and then I took profit right under here. So that was a nice little scalp there. Sold around 370, took the profit around 360. So pretty cool for a 10 handle scalp. Did the same thing here. Now this is where it starts to get sloppy. So I sold, covered for like about a point of profit or a break even. Right here, I'm not sure why I sold this. I guess I was expecting us to keep holding these moving averages and keep trading lower, but we didn't quite get that. The bulls managed to come up and test this resistance up here in the 380s. So I sold here, and that time I took a loss, giving back some profit. So I got this one wrong right here. I'm going to have to go back and look at that. But generally, some signals here that the sellers were not willing to be aggressive anymore at this point. They wanted to kind of lay off a bit, trade it up into these 390s here, all the way back up to 400. This is where we initially sold off from before. So we retraced all the way back to these 400s. And now take a look right here. As we traded above 400, we didn't stay above it very long. As you can see, we had a bear and then another bear right here. So right here, I managed to capture some of this second leg down just for a quick scalp. So I sold at 395, covered at 391 just for a scalp. That's an example of a momentum scalp right there. And then I did the same thing again. So retest, buyers are kind of weak, sell it, take profit on this bear break, not looking for much profit. So again, about an 8 handle profit there, except this time we had a massive move right down to the VWAP. And again, that would have been the moment to kind of trail that stop and hold on to the trade probably. Bounce off the VWAP. At this point, I got it wrong because we bounced. And again, I'm looking to sell aggressive rallies because we're in a bear trend sort of. But I sold right here, and I was in fact skeptical of it. So it didn't stop me out on any of this because my stop would have been about 380-ish. And then when it came down and came back up, I stopped that out at break even because I wasn't really confident with this. Okay, and again, we're in the lower part of the trading range. So here we have a bear break below the support. So that's a continuation of the trend. Now this bear break traps out long traders for sure. So on the initial break, I didn't catch anything, but on this consolidation, once I saw that the buyers were really weak, I decided to take a quick sell right here. And you can see I scalped that really quick from 51 until 46, just getting in on a sell stop and then putting in a buy limit immediately and getting that fill. So that's an example of a momentum scalp again. And again, then we come back up right to the VWAP, another little rally, followed by a sell. So the sell the rallies is working, as you can see here. At this point, this is where I started to mess up. Now, all of this, I do not know what got into me to trade this way. I was green, in fact, on all of this. After all this, I was green. I don't know what got into me to trade this way here. Very sloppy trading. So take a look here. Again, we're trying to regain the trading range, but I'm buying near the top. Very bad entry. I was front running the idea that we were going to break up here and pop above 367, stop out shorts. But again, why? There's no reason you should be front running that in a bear trend. You can see we're clearly in a bear trend here. There's no reason to front run a bull breakout in a bear trend. See, I got that wrong, right? So I bought there and I got stopped out. Again, I did it again. Bought there and I got stopped out. This time I sold there and I got stopped out. So 3 in a row right there. That's called giving back profit. And this is just sloppy trading, and it's the kind of trading you have to avoid. So it's tricky, right? Because in the style of trading I have, it's very easy to get into a trade. I can get into a trade immediately just by pressing a button. Thing is, you got to be on top of the market. You got to be on top of the order flow here. You have to know what's going on. You have to know where buyers are trapped, where sellers are trapped. And this right here in this tightening range, I was front running breakouts in a tightening range. Bad thing to do. And I have to go back and look at this. You could say that we're in a bear trend, right? So low, high, lower high, and lower low, lower high, and trying for a lower low, but kind of tightening up in this range. So I'm front running the idea that we're going to get a breakout. And again, we're not getting the breakout. So what happens is I end up taking a lot of weird trades here, buying, selling, selling, then getting stopped out, selling, and then managing to scalp this, I think, as a long trade. And then up here, this is also very sloppy behavior. So you can see here, bought that, sold at the VWAP. So that's pretty good. That's not as bad because we came back. You can consider that a failed bear break. a failed bear break back into the trading range. That could be a good bull, and you can see how we came right back up to test the 360. Now, when we got to 360, I became obsessed with front running the idea we were going to break above these high 60s, getting to the 70s. We did not get that. As you can see, we tried and then failed, and then back into the range for a bear. I messed this one up. So you can see here, I would have bought right here, and then I sold for a break even, and then I bought right here, and then I sold this one for a loss. And then again, I bought this one, and then I sold that one for a loss. So two of them right there where I got the wrong idea. I did not realize that we were in a trading range. This is clearly a trading range, by the way. Bear break failure back into the trading range. Attempt to move higher, fail, back into the trading range. Buyers are coming through here, but they get answered by sellers, pushing it back into the trading range. And you can see how we broke bearish after this, and I don't think I traded after that. You can see another bear break with no follow through, back into the trading range. And guess what happened after? That time we traded bullish, because you can see we had multiple attempts to trade lower and we failed, back into the trading range, and then the buyers came through to push this up above the 370s, and who knows what we're doing now. So basically right here is where I got it wrong. I was trying to front run a bunch of different trades, kind of trying to scalp momentum in different directions. I guess just being unaware of the structure of the market, the fact that it's in a trading range, and to watch the extreme points of the trading range, because that's going to give you a general idea of where traders are entering and where traders are getting faked out. So I got this wrong. So I'm finishing the day down like 2%, 2.5% here. And that's my max loss for the day. In fact, I will never take more than 3 losers of $20 a pop in this account right here, trading one lots on the micros on the NASDAQ. So that's going to be it for today, guys. I'm calling it a day. I had to force myself to stop. And by the way, it's quite hard to do that, especially with this style of trading where you can take, 20, 30 trades in a day or more. It's quite hard to stop trading, especially if you have momentum. And that's the cool thing, right? Because if you've got momentum and you're winning and you've got momentum, there's no real reason to stop. But if you're losing, you can also get into that momentum of losing too. So that's why it's important to have a max loss and being able to just sit there, close the platform and go into read-only mode, which I'm in right now. You can see that. That right there is going to be a crucial skill that you need to develop as a trader, because you never want to get into that momentum where you're losing consistently because you're oblivious to what the market's telling you. Anyhow, so I started today red, and then I got back green, and then I got back red. So red to green to red, and we have work to do, guys. Today's trading, 25 trades, 52% win rate. Pretty good, actually. Better than what I've been experiencing last couple of days. So we're going to try and keep up that consistency for next week. I'm going to be hitting the books this weekend and just be studying these trades. All right, guys, see you in the next video. Take care. Bye.